A week of cold showers, a little uncomfortable, but totally worth it. There's a challenge I'd heard about many times, but never dared to try. Not climbing a mountain. Not running a marathon. Not even going phone-free for 24 hours. No, just this, taking cold showers. Sounds simple, right? But in reality, it's anything but. Because no one likes the cold. Especially in the morning. Especially when you're tired. Especially when you know that with just one small twist of the tap, you could return to the warm, safe comfort zone instantly. And yet, I decided to try it. Because I wanted to see what would happen if I stepped into the cold. Not because I had to, but because I chose to. Snowflake hash, not just a shock to the body. You might be thinking, what's the big deal about a cold shower? But here's the truth. It's a mental test every single day. When the cold water hits you, your body tightens, your breath shortens, your heart rate jumps. Your survival instincts switch on. And in that moment, your brain will try to convince you to quit. To stop. To give in. But if you stay with it, even for just 30 seconds, you'll realize something powerful. White right pointing back hand index. It's not that you're fearless. It's that you act even while you're still afraid. Why do people even do this? Studies show that cold showers can help reduce stress, improve circulation, boost mental resilience, and even give you more energy and focus for the day. But the biggest benefit isn't to your nervous system or immune system. The biggest benefit is this. Your mindset gets stronger every morning. Because you choose the harder path first. In this video, I'll walk you through my real 7-day experience with cold showers. How terrifying day 1 felt. How I pushed through the mornings when I wanted to give up. And the most unexpected lesson I learned by the end of this icy challenge. If you're looking for a simple, powerful way to reset your mindset, stay with me until the end of this video. White right pointing back hand index. And if this video helps or inspires you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next challenge on this journey with me. Part 1, Day 1, the cold wasn't the scariest part. I still remember that first morning, clearly. The alarm went off. I woke up, a little groggy. Like every other day, I hesitated for a few minutes. But today, I had made a promise to myself. 7 days of cold showers. No exceptions. I walked into the bathroom. My hand reached for the shower knob. But I didn't turn it. I paused for a few seconds, then a few minutes. And in my head, a familiar voice kicked in. It's cold today. Just start tomorrow. No one's checking. No one will know. You need your energy for a long day ahead. Excuses. 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 Fearful face, but the most surprising part? It wasn't the cold. It was the fear before the cold. I hadn't even touched the water yet, and my heart was racing. My breath was short. My hands were sweating. I was scared. Not of pain, but of facing discomfort with no escape. And that's when I realized. White right pointing back hand index. Most of the fear we experience in life doesn't come from the challenge itself. It comes from thinking about the challenge. The science behind it. That anxiety before the water hits. It's your brain's survival instinct in full gear. As you prepare for the cold, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, lights up. It sends signals to your body. Something dangerous is coming, prepare to run. Heart rate spikes. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles tighten. Every part of you wants to escape. It's the fight-or-flight response, useful for prehistoric survival. But in this case, it only makes you afraid of something that hasn't even happened yet. When I finally stepped in, I stopped thinking. I turned the knob and stepped into the stream. The first few seconds were a shock. My whole body tensed. I held my breath. My mind went blank. But after 10 seconds, I started to breathe again. After 30 seconds, the tension softened. And after a minute, I realized something. White right pointing backhand index. I had just won a battle inside my own mind. First lesson, the cold doesn't defeat you. You do, or you don't. That morning, I walked into work feeling completely different. No grogginess. No sluggishness. Just a sharp, focused energy, because I had done something hard right at the start of my day. And you know what? That one small action, a cold shower, created a domino effect of strength and clarity for the rest of my day. Part 2, when day 3 arrives. The excitement fades. If day 1 was a battle against fear, then the next few days brought a new kind of challenge. Repetition. Boredom. Inner resistance. On day 2, I still felt motivated. I woke up thinking, I did it once, I can definitely do it again. But by day 3, I was tired. Not from the cold, but from the lack of novelty. The challenge no longer felt exciting or special. It started to feel like an obligation, just another task to check off. Weary faced the mental fatigue of repetition. Standing in the bathroom, I found myself thinking, why am I even doing this? No one's making me. I already did it yesterday. Skipping one day won't hurt. Is this really the most important thing right now? That's when I realized something crucial. My brain wasn't afraid of the cold anymore. It was afraid of continuing without a compelling reason. What does psychology say about this? According to research on hedonic adaptation, when we repeat an action often enough, the initial emotional reward fades. The brain stops giving us that boost of excitement or pride. That's why most people quit. Not because something is too hard, but because it no longer feels rewarding. And in that moment, what you need isn't more motivation. What you need is a system. Hammer and wrench # the fix I found, automated, don't negotiate. Instead of waking up and asking, should I take a cold shower today? I started saying, white right pointing backhand index. I take cold showers every morning. It's just part of my routine. I made it as non-negotiable as brushing my teeth. No emotion required. No debate. Just action. Bullseye midweek lesson, discipline doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from systems. Once I stopped negotiating with myself, everything became easier. It wasn't a mental war anymore. It became simple. Black right arrow # step into the bathroom. Black right arrow # turn the tap. Black right arrow # begin. And over time, I noticed something unexpected. White right pointing backhand index. The feeling of pride didn't fade. It became stronger and more stable. Not because it was exciting, but because it meant I was showing up, even when it wasn't. Part 3, by day 5, your body stops reacting the same way. By the 5th day, something strange happened. The shock was gone. The dread of turning on the cold water, gone. It no longer felt like punishment. Instead, there was an unexpected sense of calm. That's when I realized. White right pointing backhand index. I wasn't just getting used to the cold. I was changing who I was. What's happening inside your body? When you expose yourself to cold water regularly, your body undergoes powerful physiological and neurological adaptations. 1. Activation of the sympathetic nervous system. Cold exposure triggers a release of norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter that increases alertness and improves mood. 2. Improved blood circulation. Blood vessels constrict in response to cold, then dilate afterward, boosting circulation and refreshing your energy. 3. Increase stress resilience. Each time you step into the cold, your brain learns how to face discomfort rather than avoid it. Scientists refer to this as hormetic stress, a type of beneficial stress that strengthens your system by exposing it to controlled doses of pressure. Electric light bulb. But the biggest shift wasn't physical, it was mental. I started to feel more confident. Not because I looked better. Not because I felt stronger. But because every morning began with a small internal victory. When you win that first battle right after you open your eyes, every other challenge that day feels less intimidating. A new state of mind, alert, composed, intentional. I noticed I wasn't reacting the same way to surprise emails, sudden work demands, or minor annoyances. I felt calmer, more patient, more in control. Because every morning, I carried with me a powerful mental image. A version of myself who once shivered at the edge of a freezing shower, but still stepped in every day. Lesson from day 5, you don't need to control the whole world, just control the first thing you do each day. Cold showers didn't turn me into a superhero. But they did remind me of something important. White right pointing backhand index. One small action, repeated with discipline, can reshape the way you experience the entire world. Part 4, I wasn't just taking cold showers, I was training my fight mindset. On the final day, I stood under the cold stream, just like the previous 6 mornings. But this time, I didn't feel fear. I didn't need to brace myself anymore. I simply stood still, breathed steadily, and let the alertness spread through my body. The challenge was over. But deep down, I knew something else had just begun. Counterclockwise arrows. It wasn't the cold showers that changed my life. It was choosing discomfort and showing up for it every day. That choice triggered 3 major shifts. White heavy check mark 1. I retrained my reaction mindset. I stopped running from discomfort. I started stepping into it and taking charge of my response. White heavy check mark 2. I rebuilt trust with myself. Every morning, I kept a promise. Every day, I felt more worthy of my own trust. White heavy check mark 3. I realized motivation doesn't come before action, it comes after. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You just need to begin and let action create momentum. The biggest lesson I learned. Transformation doesn't come from a big inspirational moment. It comes from doing one small thing over and over without giving up. You don't need to do something huge each day. You just need to do one small thing consistently without avoiding it. For me, that small thing was stepping into the cold. For you, maybe it's writing one journal page. Or doing 5 minutes of exercise. Or making your bed. But if you stay with it, that small act becomes the foundation of your inner strength. Seedling, from now on, I'll keep taking cold showers. Not as a 7-day challenge. But as a habit, one that helps me start each day with a personal win. I don't need a reason to keep going anymore. I just need to remember, I started once, and I didn't stop. Speech balloon. If you're feeling stuck, unmotivated, or unsure where to begin. White right pointing backhand index. Try one small action, just hard enough to challenge you. White right pointing backhand index. Do it every day, especially when you don't feel like it. White right pointing backhand index, and soon you'll realize. You don't have to change your entire life. You just have to change how you begin your day. Conclusion, it's not the cold that makes you strong. It's choosing to face it. Taking cold showers isn't magic. It won't make you the fastest, smartest, or most successful person. But it can turn you into someone you can trust. Someone who doesn't quit, even when it's just one small, uncomfortable act each morning. White right pointing backhand index. You don't need to start by changing your whole life. White right pointing backhand index. You just need to start with one action, the one you've been avoiding. And if you stick with it long enough, you'll realize this. Discipline doesn't restrict you, it frees you. Repeat button. So, will you give it a try? Not to show off, but to prove to yourself. You can do hard things and come out stronger on the other side. Speech balloon. Drop a comment below. I'll try it, cold and committed. So we can begin this journey together, not because it's cold, but because it builds strength. Loudspeaker. If this video helped you in any way, White right pointing back hand index tap like to support the message. White right pointing back hand index subscribe so you don't miss the next challenge. White right pointing back hand index and hit the notification bell so that each day you're one step closer to becoming the best version of yourself.